My top tips up until this point with astral projection, if I were to give out the quickest tips, like the most specific, but like the quickest tips, I would say attempt to astral project right after you wake up from sleep, preferably before you start moving. If you move a tiny bit, it's okay, but preferably waking up without an alarm and with minimal to no movement, and then immediately just either stay like that, just stay awake and just not move, or attempt lines of force, which I would just even cut that down to just feel like if a person's going to cross their eyes but they don't, like, so I'm not crossing my eyes, but I'm sort of concentrating some energy here, and it kind of feels like you're going to cross your eyes but you're not crossing them, and it's not even really getting too close to crossing them. And just do that and form this energy feeling that forms here, and then do the same thing outward, like you're trying to get your eyes outward right here, and these points will develop here, and just do that and see what happens. That would be like the quickest, most like specific. Like if somebody said, hey, how do I do this, what do you think would work the best, or what would be like the most specific? Another thing I would say is head facing the north. I don't know why that is, but when my head is closest to the north, when I'm attempting astral projection, for some reason, there's something about that. It's more amplified. The experience is more amplified. Dreams are more amplified. And like I said, I don't know why that is, but I would say might as well throw that in. Head facing closest to the north, right when one wakes up, preferably without an alarm, because an alarm will go off and really wake a person up. And then it involves movement. We have to shut off the alarm. Yeah, and then just do that energy thing, like stay conscious and do that. Another thing that would help is just try meditation. Do meditation like in the daytime for like a half hour, an hour. Just do basically relax as much as possible so that the body is as close to sleep as possible, while the mind is alert. It's just calm and alert. What'll happen, it automatically is, for me, that's what's happened, is just meditating like that, and then just doing it, several times, like different days and stuff. I usually meditate facing the east also, and there's a reason for that, because that's the direction of the rising sun, of ease and illumination, so it's like a path of ease. What'll happen is, just while I'm asleep, since I'm mimicking sleep with meditation, relaxation, super relaxed body, like it's asleep, and then my mind's awake, what'll happen is, while I'm actually asleep, without trying, I will find myself in that situation where I'm meditating. So what'll happen is my mind becomes alert. It becomes lucid and awake, even though my body's asleep. Those states of awareness, those states of consciousness, lead into symptoms leading up to out-of-body experiences and out-of-body experiences. Once the vibrational state is achieved, and I don't think everybody experiences that. I do experience it, not every single time, but I experience it quite a bit. I just stay there. So vibrational state is happening, and I just stay there. I just experience this electrical feeling. It feels like it's the physical body, but it's not. So it feels like it's actual physical, but it's not, because I've sat up out of it, because thinking, well, what's going on? This feels like electricity running through my body. Wondering like what's going on, with my body. Turns out it's not. It's this energy. So it's detecting this energy state, energy, and that's what will happen. For me, is this electric state, which is commonly called the vibrational state. If that is experienced, just continue to stay aware. I don't really try to like roll out or anything like that. I've tried, but I know that it works for some people. There are different techniques. Like there's this rope technique, there's rolling out, there's like different ways that people are able to successfully exit the body. I found that just if I'm calm, if I feel good, if I'm alert, if I'm there, it'll happen. Experiencing the lifting out of the body part, I sent, and this was someone commented on one of the videos and said to do this. I sent good, loving energy to the solar plexus region, and by doing that, I lifted out. Most of the time, it'll be the vibrational state. There's all this intensity going on, other things, others, and then all of a sudden, boom, I will be out of body, and I don't sense any of those symptoms. I don't sense my physical body, and I'm out of body, and I'm aware, I'm conscious. So that's usually how it happens for me. So in attempting it, it would be preferably head facing the north. As soon as a person wakes up, whether it's waking up from a nap, waking up at night for some reason, or waking up in the daytime, in the morning, without an alarm preferably, and then immediately doing that thing here where it feels like you're going to cross your eyes, but you're not, and it's just all with eyes closed. And this energy develops there, and then doing it outward here, and that's pretty much it, and just staying aware. So that would be like the clearest, like most concise, I think, like quick tips that I would say are the best tips that I could give at this point for astral projection. Also getting regular, normal amounts of sleep regularly, like making sure that I'm well rested, and also making sure that I sleep as continuous as possible. So I know I said that I will wake up sometimes in the middle of the night. That will happen sometimes just for a few seconds, and then I'll end up in an out of body experience. Sometimes I'll become lucid without waking up. Sleeping continuously, like an adult, so 8 hours of sleep. Getting a full 8 hours of continuous sleep is important. It's important for health. It's extremely important. And I know the younger a person is, teenagers, children, they need to sleep a lot more. The longer a person sleeps, it's not just all the things that the body does. The brain cleans itself. It clears out all these proteins that build up during the day. The digestive system regulates itself. There's all these things that the body does. Another thing that happens is REM cycles, because we cycle through different brain waves when we sleep. REM sleep, which is where most dreaming takes place, those cycles become longer throughout the night. So there is every reason to sleep 8 hours if a person's an adult every night, and not be sleep deprived and not develop like a sleep deficit in life. That's not good. It's not healthy. Getting that full amount of sleep, a person ends up with longer and longer REM cycles. Those longer and longer REM cycles are larger opportunities to become lucid. So there are a lot of reasons to make sure that a person is well rested every single night. Missing sleep creates sleep deficits that can't fully be recovered even with extra sleep later on. Like it's really serious. So I always like to make, I love to sleep. I don't drink caffeine, and I almost never drink alcohol, maybe like 2-3 times a year or 0 times a year. I don't like it. I don't like how it feels. I don't like it. It does cause brainwave disruption. So if a person's drinking at night, they end up with brainwave disruption. I don't know if caffeine does that. Now, I'm really sensitive to caffeine, so I don't like caffeine. I don't like the feeling of caffeine. It's horrible, and it's genetic. I know that I genetically am not a person that drinks caffeine. I knew it was genetic, and then when I got it because I have a DNA ancestry, but I also have the traits one, and one of the traits is like caffeine consumption, and it came up as I'm like less likely to drink caffeine than the average person, which is true, and I wasn't surprised to see that, because the feeling of caffeine is so horrible to me. I don't like it. I find that if I've experienced caffeine consumption, that night I go to sleep, it doesn't feel like as deep. And even the night after, then the third night, I'll feel like I'm sleeping normal again. So I'm really sensitive to caffeine, but I know that some people aren't, and their body doesn't respond that way. So I don't know. I can't speak for anyone else, because I know that some people, they simply have a totally different experience with caffeine than I do. But so I don't mess with caffeine. You know, I like hot chocolate sometimes and stuff, but if I end up feeling the caffeine, it just makes me not want to touch anything caffeinated for a really long time. Alcohol causes brainwave disruption. I don't like alcohol. It does cause brainwave disruption. So if a person goes to sleep, even though it's a depressant and a person can fall asleep, later on in the night, it'll disrupt their brainwaves. So it's just something to keep in mind because it's disturbing a person's sleep. It's disturbing the body, the way the body regulates and then how the brain functions. So that's just something to keep in mind. Other things, I've attempted to astral project from like being awake, like just being awake, and then attempting astral projection and like just being on a couch or being on the bed and attempting astral projection. I find that to be the most difficult for me. I remember meditating up to like 2 hours. It took like 2 hours before I started getting some symptoms of astral projection. It was the heart chakra symptom that I started feeling the most. Like that was really the main thing of those two experiences. But I feel like it's really time consuming. It takes like, 2 hours for just to start getting some symptoms, where it takes seconds if I just stay still or use lines of force when I wake up right out of sleep, whenever it is that I wake up, whether it's from a nap or in the morning, or if I happen to wake up at night. That I find to be the best because I don't have to worry about if I develop an itch or swallowing or am I relaxed enough, or because I was asleep, so I'm super relaxed. I'm already super calm and relaxed, so it's already there. I find that it's the fastest way for me to induce an out-of-body experience.